In this video, I'll teach you 5 mistakes to avoid when using Microsoft Project. You know, Microsoft Project is a powerful project management tool, but learning how to use it is definitely not intuitive. In this video, I'll teach you 5 common mistakes that people make with the tool and how to avoid those mistakes to give you better quality Microsoft Project schedules. So let's get started. The first mistake to avoid when learning to use Microsoft Project is incorrectly setting the start date of the project. Here's what rookie users will often do. They create a new blank project and then they enter the name of the first task in the project. They immediately go to the Start cell for that task, click the calendar date picker, and select the start date of that task, which might be April the 7th, for example. But that's totally the wrong way to set the start date for the project. So let me hit undo and show you the right way. To set the start date properly for the project, click the Project tab to display the project ribbon, click the Project Information button. In the upper left corner of the Project Information dialog, click the Start Date Pick List button. On the calendar date picker, navigate to the start date of the project, select it, and then click the OK button. There's the proper way to set the start date for every new project. A second mistake to avoid in Microsoft Project is using manually scheduled tasks. Notice that every task in my project shows the turquoise-colored push-pin indicators, and every task's Gantt bar is the turquoise-colored Gantt bar. This indicates that all of these tasks are manually scheduled. Here's why you don't want to use manually scheduled tasks. I just learned that the design task is now anticipated to take 5 days. I'm going to change the duration of this task to 5 days. Oh no! There's now a red squiggly underline character for the finish date of the build task, which indicates a potential scheduling problem, and the Gantt bar for the build task now shows the chopped up edges, which indicates a manual task warning, but worse still, the schedule didn't shift the way I expected it to. That's why you shouldn't be using manually scheduled tasks. So let me hit undo, and let me show you the right way. First of all, even though the default is manually scheduled tasks in every new project, do this immediately. At the bottom of the screen, click the New Tasks button, and on the pop-up menu, choose Auto Schedule. Then select any existing tasks that are manually scheduled, and in the middle of your task ribbon, click the Auto Schedule button. Now let me do the same example again. I've just learned the design task is expected to take 5 days. If I change the duration to 5 days, watch the magic take place. Bingo! The entire schedule is recalculated automatically by Microsoft Project, and that is the behavior you want in Microsoft Project. A third mistake to avoid when using Microsoft Project is manually typing start dates and/or finish dates for all the tasks in the project. In this project, I've actually manually entered start dates and/or finish dates for every task except for the implement task. So I'm going to go ahead and manually enter a planned start date of March the 6th for this task. But oh, look, Microsoft Project displays a planning wizard dialog warning me that I'm doing something bad. Well, guess what? I'm just going to ignore the warning. I'm going to choose the second option, move implement without adding a link, and I'll click the OK button. Here's the first negative consequence. Every task from number 2 down through number 6 now has either a start no earlier than or finish no earlier than constraint that Microsoft Project added automatically to the task without asking my permission. Here's a bigger problem. If the task design is now anticipated to take 5 days instead of 3 days, if I enter a new duration of 5 days, the project schedule does not slip as I need it to do, which means I would have to manually go in and start changing start dates and or finish dates of every task.
That stuff's hard.
Not a good idea. So here's what we'll do instead. For every task in your project schedule, be sure and enter a planned duration value initially. Then select the tasks and link them using task dependencies. Now in this project, if I change the duration of the design task, look, the magic begins and the project schedule is shifted automatically and recalculated just the way I want. A fourth mistake to avoid with using Microsoft Project is failing to save a baseline after you've completely scheduled your project and before you go live and begin entering progress. In this project, I've not saved a baseline. I didn't know I was supposed to. So I begin entering task progress. And by the way, I'm just going to use a really simple little method here. So the task design ended up taking 5 days, and I'll go ahead and mark it as done. And the task build ended up taking 9 days, and I'll go ahead and mark it as done. And then my manager says to me, "Hey, Dale, how's your project going?" And I answer, "Well, it's going to finish on March the 15th. And then my manager follows up with the killer question, "Well, when was it supposed to finish?" And I have absolutely no idea. So let me go ahead and back out the progress. And now let's do this right. The project is completely planned and I'm ready to begin entering progress. Before I do that, however, I'll click the Project tab to display the project ribbon. I'll click the Set Baseline Pick List button and choose Set Baseline. In the Set Baseline dialog, I'll leave all of the default options in place and I'll click the OK button. Now the baseline is saved. That's my original plan schedule. Now let's go ahead and enter some progress again using just this real quick and easy method. The task design actually took 5 days. I'll go ahead and mark it as done. The task build actually took 9 days, and I'll mark it done. Then my manager says to me, "Dale, how's your project going?" And I can immediately do the following. First, I can display the tracking Gantt view. In this view, I can compare the blue and red Gantt bars with their accompanying gray Gantt bars. These gray Gantt bars are the original baseline schedule. I can clearly see that the blue and red Gantt bars have slipped to the right of their gray Gantt bars, which indicates that the project is slipping. Then, when my manager says, well, how bad are you slipping, Dale? I can do this. I can right-click on the Select All button and choose the variance table. And when I drag the split bar over to the far right edge of the variance column, I can look at the project summary task row 0, the finish variance value of 6 days, and I can tell my manager the project is currently slipping 6 days, and I can say that with certainty. The fifth and final mistake to avoid making in Microsoft Project is failing to reschedule incomplete work from the past into the current reporting period. In this sample project, the green grid line represents the current date, which is Wednesday, February the 13th. And this red dashed grid line indicates the status date, which is the date by which all project progress should be current in this project. By the way, in the information section below, you'll find the links to 2 videos I've created about how to enter the status date grid line and how to display this red dashed line in the Gantt chart screen. So I've got a baseline save for this project, and I've entered progress for last week, the week of February the 6th. Here's what happened. Alicia Ramey did complete the design task as expected in 3 days. However, on the build task, Bethany and James never even got started because they got pulled off my project to work on a failing project and nobody told me. So they made no progress on the build task. Here's the problem. These 2 days of work they were supposed to do but didn't do. That means incomplete work scheduled in the past. We can never allow that to happen because at this point, the schedule is wrong. Here's how I can get the schedule right. If I click the Project tab to display the project ribbon, then over at the right end of the ribbon, I can click the Update Project button to display the Update Project dialog. In this dialog, I do need to select the second option, Reschedule Uncompleted Work to Start After. Notice that Microsoft Project put in my status date for me automatically, and then all I need to do is to click the OK button. Notice what Microsoft Project did. It set a start no earlier than constraint on the build task, and it moved it in its entirety to start in the current week. The schedule of this project is now correct. The new anticipated finish date is March the 9th, as indicated by Microsoft Project. So that's the fifth and final mistake to avoid with Microsoft Project. I hope this video will help you to avoid those common mistakes that people make with using Microsoft Project. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click the notifications button. If you have questions about Microsoft Project, please write your questions in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in my next video.